Hello, welcome to Bob's Dungeon. My name's Bob, I'll be your host. In this video, I'm going to tell a story. And this story is for Valentine's Day. The story actually has nothing to do with Valentine's Day, but there's love in this story. And mutilation. So I guess it's got everything you need for a Valentine's Day story. Anyway, an alternative title for this video that I was kicking around was How I Met My Wife and Cut Her Arm Off. But I went with the Star Wars Valentine's Day special. It fits. Anyway, this story takes place in the late 90s, and I was running a Star Wars tabletop role-playing game. And it was the D6 system from West End Games. This is before Wizards of the Coast had started publishing Star Wars as a tabletop role-playing game. And this is even before there was even a third edition of Dungeons and Dragons. So, I'd been running the game for a little bit, and we got some new players in. And one of them happened to be a player of the opposite gender of me. And this was kind of weird. We never really had a lot of girls playing our games, and the ones that we did get, for some reason we always got these girls that were like spotlight characters. For those of you that don't know what that is, they have to be the center of attention, the main character. It was weird. So I was thinking, well, we got another one of those. So her and the other two players that had just started made up their characters, and they made up teenagers. All of them were about 14, 15 years old, the characters they made. And I was thinking, well, this is great. So we started playing, and the story that was going on at the time, they were on the space station, and this person had found this creature in space and brought it aboard the space station, and it was going around killing people after it got loose. So, to my surprise, she wasn't a spotlight character, and actually was a pretty good component to the group. And when they finally confronted the monster, she was like the first to jump into combat. And as such, she lost an arm. I cut her arm off. It was kind of gross. But they defeated the bad guy, and he wound up shot back out into space. So that was the end of that session, and it ended there. And I thought, well, we'll never see her again. And I wasn't trying to mutilate her character. It just happened. And I ain't going to pull the punches. So, at the time, we were playing just about every night of the week. Not Star Wars, mind you. That game we were running like once a week. But other nights we were running Vampire, we were running Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Dungeons and Dragons, all kinds of stuff. Well, the next week it came back to our Star Wars game, and she showed back up. She wasn't upset at all that I mutilated her character. She wanted to know what happens next. So we started the game with them putting the finishing touches on her brand new cybernetic arm. And she wound up playing in the game until we ended it. And at one point, there was another character who she wound up responsible for getting him in an explosion, testing a weird lightsaber, and he wound up losing 2 of his arms, which is all right. He had 4 to begin with. And now he has 2 normal arms and 2 cybernetic arms. Well, he wound up betraying the group later, but that's another story. Anyway, after the game and stuff, we lost track of each other, and about a year later, we met back up at a Halloween party. And we got to talking, and after that we started dating. And then eventually we got married. And now we've been married for well over 20 years. And because of this, I now have the unique privilege of telling everybody that I met my wife playing my favorite tabletop role-playing game of all time, and I cut her arm off, and she married me anyway. That's my Valentine's story for you. I've told that story before, I'm sure, but it deserved its own video. So I'd like to take this opportunity, if my wife is watching this video, to tell her Happy Valentine's Day, and I love you. To everybody else, I'd like to say have a very good Valentine's Day, and hopefully you'll join me here next time, where we'll talk about something else. Bye.